Hey, welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. Happy Monday. How we doing out there? You had a good weekend? All's good? Back to work? Doing our thing? Hey, we're financial advisors here at Jazz Wealth. We just like to go over the stock market, keep you guys updated, keep our customers updated, and of course, hopefully teach you something new every day. That is the goal here. If you take a look off to the right-hand side of your page, your screen, you can see the stock market today. The S&P just inching slightly higher there, a bit of back and forth. Really, honestly, it was all because of Apple and Tesla throughout the day, the day's volatility anyways. Also, quick thing. Tomorrow, I'll be sharing a new update, and then Thursday, for our customers, we'll do this more in detail, but we're actually going to give our customers the ability to backdate their deposits for previous years if they're eligible there. So we built out this cool tool. We're able to actually see only those deposits that you can backdate, all this great stuff. I'll share it a little bit tomorrow with you, but super cool what we're building there in the dojo. Hey, man, we got a lot of earnings. A lot of earnings coming up. So the stock market largely moved around today, and the volatility today, aside from the morning dip, was largely because of earnings and a couple other stocks out there, which we'll cover. But you got over 100 names in the S&P 500 just this week that are going to report earnings. You've got over 300 names, 330 or something like that in total, reporting total, like not in the S&P, just all the major indices there. And I'm going to see real quick if I can share this here with you because yeah, there we go. So here is just the list of names reporting tomorrow. What I did is I went through, gave you all the stats on all of them in case you want to look through that. But we did focus on some of the names that would likely be in the headlines. Those would be in the orange there. You got American Express coming out there. We're looking for loan loss provisions. Are they able to drop that as well? We'll be looking for the 30-day delinquency rates as we did before with the other card processors. You got D.R. Horton out there with earnings, and this is, of course, a really exciting home builders section right now. New home starts, obviously, off the charts. Everything's going well there. So we want to see to make sure they're participating in that as well. General Electric with their new move recently here, how they've done so well, and the flying taxis and all that stuff. Looking for more guidance on all of that to keep their momentum going. Johnson & Johnson got a little pressure on them because they're trying to push out their vaccine, and old Fauci, Dr. Fauci said it should be about 2 weeks, and they report earnings tomorrow, so we'll be focused on that as well. These guys have the best track record of beating on earnings, by the way. If you were to look at Johnson & Johnson, they beat about 94% of the time on earnings. It's a very low volatility type stock. You usually don't see a lot of action for earnings, and in fact, if you look over here, the average gap is minuscule. Right? The average intraday move is next to nothing, right? It's so little that it just shows zero. Average full day move is basically nothing. So it's normally not one that goes wild on earnings, like a Tesla or something. You got Prologis in here as well, hopefully helping out the REITs. Overall, remember, this is a digital play in that space. You got Verizon. Maybe that'll wake up a little bit, see some 5G news or whatever. You got a couple of the semiconductors. You got AMD. You got Maxim, and you got Texas Instruments coming out, and there's been a lot of action in the semiconductor space. Of course, you know they're very extended right now. Maybe we'll cover that in a little bit. You've also got Capital One. We'll be looking for the same metrics as we had there in American Express. I'm interested in Martin Transport. We happen to own it. I just kind of like that stock. Microsoft as well. There's so much coming out there for Microsoft, and you can see the stats on that. A little bit more volatile than some of the other names there. Starbucks there, we'll be looking for more of their store reopenings around the world, see how things are going, and of course their rewards program is things that everybody likes to focus on there. And then largely the most volatile stocks don't really pick up until we get into the second part of the week there. We get into Apple and Tesla and all that great stuff. So just a little bit, well, a lot of data, but just a quick couple things that we'll probably be focused on tomorrow there. Apple, of course. Is this going to be the first quarter they report over $100 billion in revenue? You know, we'll see about Tesla and everything that's going on there. But we're here to talk about the markets as they perform today, so let's dive on over to it. I will start, where are we going to start today? We'll start with the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, it was Apple and Tesla today that were the biggest contributors. Both of them were the big pull on the way down. If you look at a 5-minute chart there, you could see we found a sort of a air gap, or a pocket of air, as they say, when you have this rapid sell-off throughout the day. Apple, Tesla, both did the same thing on the way down there, and both recovered before the stock market did. So that was helping out the market get back to even, but a little bit of volatility to kick things off there in the NASDAQ today. On the downside of the list today, you got some of the names like DocuSign. They had a note come out from Goldman Sachs that basically said you got to be careful about some of the valuations on these stocks. So you had that there. You got Moderna. Nice little pop there. Moderna's finally getting a little action after the buy the rumor, sell the news of the vaccine sort of thing there. And Intel, kind of an interesting pullback here. It fills the gap. We'll call that a fill. All the way back to the 200-day after their earnings getting hacked and posted early and all that great stuff. But they were basically pretty positive on their earnings. Not a problem that this is pulled back. And I think a rather interesting pullback there if you happen to be looking at that stock. We'll go over to the S&P 500 today. It's actually up a little bit more after hours. Not a whole lot, a little bit after hours there. But it was a lot of the big cap names that pulled you back today. You got JP Morgan, financials pulling back. Awesome, right? I know a lot of you are looking for those financial pullbacks. If you look at the sector, good little pullback there after getting extended. Goldman Sachs pulling back as well. So a lot of the mega cap bank stocks pulled back. Intel being one of them, which we just covered there. PayPal also held you back a little bit, but not too bad. It's been in a very tight, consistent uptrend. I don't have any problem with that pullback there. Netflix also, there you go, big gap up there on their earnings and pulling back just ever so slightly to give the buyers a chance that missed the earnings pop. So looking good there. We got American Express with earnings, of course, coming out, but that pullback as well. All the financials working together. Very cool how that happens. And so that's what's going on in the S&P. The S&P is still up about 3% year to date. Hey, we got some good videos this week for you. Today posted a video on should you pay off debt or invest? Now that's a tough question to answer for everybody. So what we did is we went through a scenario. Customer asked me this. Hey, this is my life. Should I pay off debt or should I invest? And rather than just give the Dave Ramsey or the Bruce Williams kind of approach of what you think, we actually went through and found the numbers, and we said, well, which one makes you end with more dollars in that case? So we did a great video, great breakdown of that one, and probably going to do a lot more on that because I find that fascinating. If one way leads to more money than the other, right, doesn't matter what you think, one way leads to more money than the other. So we got that one coming up. And then on Wednesday, we're going to do the bucket strategy investing, but we're going to actually break it down and show someone's most efficient withdrawal strategy in retirement and then say, okay, we can see what the buckets are, and now we can determine how we want to invest for those things there. In the research site, we've got 3 interesting stocks with good technical patterns, and then I gave a little fundamental overview of 3 of them. I had said recently I was going to do just 1, but got excited. I did 3. So that video is now available in the research site. If you are not a research member and you'd like to join, and you can't be a customer, that's cool. It's $13 a month if you want to join there. It's more of a, like I said, it's a research site. We point out things rather than tell you what to do so that you can learn, right? The more you can learn, the more you might be able to do this yourself one day, and you cancel the research site and go do your thing. You control the membership. So no games there. We don't control it. You sign up, you cancel. It's up to you, whatever you want to do there. And our Wine and Wealth class this week, we are going to cover backdating contributions, and then we're going to go over some of the new features in the dojo, as well as kind of give a little bit of an overview of how to use it, because it's getting thick real quick with all kinds of good stuff going on there. Let's go over to the sector breakdown and take a look at what's going on today. Utilities and REITs were your leaders today. Utilities getting a little pop out of this quiet, boring kind of area there. Utilities typically known for being boring. I think you guys know why. And you got REITs also perking up. And the reason for that was interest rates. So you got bonds getting a little bit of rally off lows. And if you know, as the price of bonds goes up, interest rates go down. And so interest rates have been spiking recently, which hasn't been helpful. But now that they're starting to turn back up towards the top of that downtrend, that has helped the utilities and REITs be the best performers today. We'll talk about consumer staples. Oh, we talked about this last week. Consumer staples, the weakest sector, pulling back, but nothing weak about it. Just a general pullback there, and we started going through individual stocks that people would pick on in here. And oddly enough, if you happen to look through that, you'll be able to see the different stocks that were rallying. Today was a great one for this, by the way, because it takes, anytime you could take your opinion out of investing and just do what people are doing, then obviously, it puts the odds in your favor. Well, if you look at consumer staples today was the first day that it started to rally. And if you look at all the stocks in the consumer staples sector, you can see which ones people were picking on. If it wasn't getting picked on today, and meaning bought up, then that means it wasn't going to be one that was going to go with the market. Maybe a little bit over time. But today you actually got to see, out of all the stocks, which one is everybody interested in? and therefore maybe you should be interested in those. But if you go back a couple days, we actually went through a lot of different stocks by using our sector tool in the dojo there to show you the different stocks that would likely get attention. And wouldn't you know it, those are at the top of the list there. So something to take a look at if you're interested. We had a stats play in here somewhere. Yeah, it was Ford. So Ford, very extended from the 50-day moving average there. When it finds itself as extended as it was, we said there is a 60.8% of chance that it would fall at least 1.27% over the next 5 days. It happened to just do that all in one day. That's 2 in a row that these happened in one day. These are not meant to be trades. These are just kind of fun ways to show you how stats really do sort of have an impact on the algorithms, right? Where does Dustin get these stats? Like, don't computers know the same thing? Yes, they do, and that's why you see stocks behave the way they do. Hope to have more of these for you. Did I put one down today? Ford would have come back up on the list there today. Okay, so we'll hopefully have some more as we go, especially as the markets continue to find themselves extended and getting more extended in these various sectors. We'll take a look and see what we can do. Okay, let's go to new highs and new lows for the day. Ta-da, here we go. There was actually 26 new highs. Our thing didn't load up, so no problem there. You got Whirlpool making new highs and kind of breaking out. Not the greatest. You could see the momentum start, technically, from the break of this very short downtrend. Notice when it broke the downtrend, volume spikes, and you have a big wide range day, right on the day that it breaks. That's technical traders agreeing with what they see on the chart. That's not my opinion. So now finds itself at new highs, breaking above these prior highs here. Didn't close over there, but you still had people taking their shots. Notice the volume was higher today. You attracted a bunch of buyers overall. If you're not familiar with Whirlpool, this is like KitchenAid and Maytag. You know, they own all the brands there. They got a lot going on, actually. And poor company. They, good for them for outperforming here over the last couple months because between like the China trade news, the virus, global demand, like a lot of their sales, I think it's like 52% of their sales come from the U.S. The rest is overseas. So this is a global company that, boy, they've been through it. So it's good to see them higher there. Let's go over to Fortune Brands here. There you go. Just poked to new highs. It's kind of like a sloppy breakout here. Same thing. What I like about it is you got a break of these somewhat even highs, but along the way you had a higher low. So you got, normally you would say in a consolidation pattern, you have equal highs and equal lows. Well, here we have equal highs, but we have higher lows. So a little bit of an uptrend starting before the breakout, and you can see traders loving that the other day. This company, everybody always thinks of security, but these guys this is really a home play, a play on the housing market. Because the majority of what they do, not the majority, like 40% of what they do is making kitchen cabinets, bath vanities, things like that. The second most, the biggest chunk of their sales come from making faucets and stuff. Right? So everybody always thinks Fortune Brands, it's security, man. It's home security. It's like the lights and the cameras from outside and stuff. That's the smallest piece of their revenue. So when you look at names where you're thinking, hey, I'd like to participate in something that may benefit from the housing market, this is that offshoot that nobody ever really thinks about, but it's at new highs there, performing nicely. Moving on, what do we got? Tesla. Tesla hitting new highs, yeah. So I'll just keep saying it. Looks like it wants to knock on the door of $1,000 a share, and it's a tough one to buy there, I'll give you that, but what, $120 to go. So not too bad there. They've got earnings in 2 days, by the way, so if something comes out nice, that could be the thing that puts them at 1,000. By the way, if it gaps up to 1,000 or higher, you expect that to be a sell, not a buy. Maybe that's something we can cover in a future class. But all right, you got Abbott Labs here. These are medical devices, but like diabetes, vision care, things like that. Technically sitting at new highs here. And closing there, I believe, right? Looking pretty good. Series of higher lows, and this would be one that's not extended. Very steady, consistent sort of uptrend. Like to see that one all there, looking good. We'll move on to Eli Lilly. Now, this one hit new highs, but this one's extended. It's now over 30% away from its 50-period moving average. That would be one that we could likely find some kind of stats play on there because that one is getting super extended. Still strong. All looks good there. And we'll move on to stocks in the news. All right. Okay, tell me. Who played this stock today? You got GameStop. You had to have seen it, right? It was all the talk today. GameStop closes out the day up 18%, at one point up over 100% in one day. It was halted numerous times along the way. Do you know why that is? I only saw one person really allude to this on TV today. Granted, I didn't watch a lot of TV. But the reason this happens, especially in a stock like this, is because, first of all, leading up to this, there were more shares short on this stock. This goes back a month. More shares short on this stock than any other stock, right? Within its category, compared to the S&P stocks and things, right? So you have people betting on the stock going down, the stock is going up. What brokerage firms do is they say, okay, if the stock is going up, we're going to require you to maintain some cash in this position. And as it goes further and further against you, we're going to require that you either find more cash, deposit more cash, sell positions, and use that cash towards these positions, towards your GameStop, in order to stay short. And if you don't do that, then we are going to liquidate your position. So what's happened is you go into Friday, you had a really strong move on Friday, brokerage firms kick out an automatic email. You maybe got one if you were short or played this one short, the stock, I should say, the shares. And so if you're short, they say, hey, Mr. Trader, looks like we have a maintenance requirement for you to go ahead and put more money in. If you don't put X number of dollars in, we are going to liquidate your position. And then they give you a date. Usually, within 2 days, I think. I think it's 2 days. So anyways, what happens is, since there was more shares short than really any other stock out there, we come into today, the stock price starts moving higher. Now we're outside of a maintenance requirement, and now the brokerage firm has to take action because you have way too large of a commitment to this position. They are not cool with that. So they start liquidating your positions. How do you liquidate a short position? You have to buy it back, right? So if more shares were short than ever, and we know everybody's in trouble, and they all have these maintenance requirements, you have millions upon millions of shares. I think it traded more shares today than the S&P. Where are we at volume-wise? 176 million shares and counting. So imagine all these shares, all of a sudden the brokerage firms go, we have 10,000 accounts that cannot hold this position anymore. Buy back the positions of all these accounts. That's a buy order. Not only that, they don't do buy orders and just try to get the best deal. They do buy liquidate or market orders. So you have buy orders coming in from the brokerage firms, which basically are market orders that tell the computer, buy the stock at any possible price. Well, when they all hit the market at the same time and there's no sellers, price just goes up, and the computers keep saying, they said buy at any price, and now 100 is the price, 120 is the price, 125 is the price, 130 is the price, and those orders will execute at whatever price they can get executed at. The reason you can tell that's what happened today is because of how fast it happened and the gap between how the offer would be $94, then $96.50. It would be something wild, where normally it would be 1 penny difference. And so that was basically the brokerage firms all over the place today liquidating the bejesus out of people who were short and were not exiting their position. Sad to see, but that's what happened. In addition to all the other traders that were out there having a good time. That's part of the fun, but there's a lot of people in a lot of trouble that probably lost a good amount of money there. So hopefully that was not you. All right, other stocks in the news today. You've got, let's hit that button. AMC, back above the 200-day moving average. This was another one today. It was quite volatile for this stock. They're going to sell off 50 million shares. Bankruptcy is now officially off the table, according to the CEO there. It's good news for them. I don't know how this affects them in the long run. I mean, like, some of these places still aren't open. A lot of them are not open, but they were in the news, and if you like going to the movies, then you wish them well. Johnson & Johnson, they've got their earnings coming up there. Dr. Fauci, like I mentioned earlier, says the COVID vaccine results should be within 2 weeks from Johnson & Johnson. Maybe they can get things up and running there. And that's pretty much it. Novavax comes out, says they're going to be able to do 76 million doses to Canada. Stock was a little bit higher there, 3.5%. It's not a lot for that stock, but still a good day. And Cliffs Natural Resources comes out and says, hey, you know those earnings coming out here soon? We think they're going to be ahead of Wall Street's forecast, just as an FYI. So those stocks were in the news today. Tomorrow, hang on. You got a ton of earnings. I shared that data with you there. If you want to take a look one more time, you're welcome to do that. All kinds of stuff. You got Plug Power coming out with a press release tomorrow. They're giving an update on general something about their business. Clorox, $1.11 ex-dividend day there. And we'll see what happens. I'll try to take your questions here if I can. And let's see. I love it. Really enjoying this part. Oh man, which part? Which part was it? Oh, the GameStop thing? Yep. Well, that's the inner workings of it, and I only know that because yours truly used to be one of the buy liquidate sort of what do they call them? Not gravedigger, but what's the name of the guy? You know when you the guy with the axe, like he comes Dr. Death or whatever?
Oh no. Yes, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of.
He has a name, right? It's not the gravedigger. Charlie?
Ugh.
Well, I used to be that guy.
The stream's gonna catch up. They'll tell us.
They'll tell us. Yeah, that's right. Grim Reaper. It comes in last second, gives us with the Grim Reaper. Yeah. So I used to be that one. You'd see an account doing its thing, and you're like, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, but poof, liquidate. You got to go. Now it's probably all automated. Yep. Biden with the decriminalization. All right. Yeah. Good. I don't know where you stand on that sort of thing, but it's kind of like just quit talking about it. I guess just do it if that's what people want. And I'd rather them pay the taxes than us have to pay the taxes on the old stimulus that these people keep putting out. Yeah. It's crazy. Grim Reaper. Everybody nailed it. They got it. There it is. Yeah. I love it, man. Yeah, that was. It's an interesting one. So when they say short squeeze, there's a difference between traders deciding, man, I got it wrong. Like old Bill Ackman on Herbalife. There's a difference between admitting defeat and forced out of your position. That's a tough one. Yeah, BlackBerry did well today. That was a very good move on that one, up 30%. A little volatility there, but that's expected. Supposedly they're done with their fight with Facebook and they can get back to business, whatever that is. Yeah, I love it. We'll see what happens there. Yep, there you go. Cool. Well, we're going to be kind of busy this week, right? Because we've got all these earnings to talk about, and hang on tight, right? Because it's going to cause volatility in the market. Know that any sort of tug of war that you see in the stock market over the next couple of days is because of different names, these bigger weighted names like your Tesla, Microsoft, and others, Apple, of course, that any sort of minor move could cause the markets to start to swing back and forth. So it'd be kind of interesting. All right, I'll wrap it up there. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll be back tomorrow. Do it all over again, and adios.